Today, we're not just going to talk about putting things off. No, we are building a full-on battle plan to win the war on procrastination. And to do it, we're pulling from neuroscience, military strategy, and, believe it or not, one super simple mental trick. You know that feeling, right? One part of your brain knows, it knows you should be working on that big project. But there's this other part, and it's screaming at you to just watch one more episode or scroll for just a few more minutes. It honestly feels like a battle, because inside your head, well, it literally is. All right, let's get into it. To win this thing, you first have to understand the battlefield. And that battlefield is right inside your own mind. And this is really important. This isn't about being lazy, and it's not some kind of character flaw. It's about biology. So let's get a really clear definition from the research. Procrastination is the irrational delay of a task. That word right there, irrational, that's the key. You absolutely know you'll be worse off later, but you do it anyway. So why? Well, it's because two very different parts of your brain are locked in a civil war. See, on one side, you've got your prefrontal cortex. Think of this as your brain's general. It's the rational, long-term planner, in charge of smart decisions and self-control. But on the other side, you've got the limbic system. This is your impulsive soldier. It's a much more primitive part of the brain, and it operates on a very simple rule. Find pleasure right now and avoid anything that feels bad. Procrastination is what happens when your impulsive soldier wins the argument and overrules your rational general.
So, what happens when that impulsive soldier just keeps winning, battle after battle? Well, the cost is way more than just a few missed deadlines. It gets emotional and it gets psychological.
And what's so fascinating is when you look at the data on what we actually put off. I mean, look at this. The things we delayed the most are our most important tasks, school and work. The very things that are supposed to build our future are the biggest battlegrounds in this internal war.
And this just shows the incredible paradox of it all. The limbic system pushes us to delay something for a quick, feel-good hit, right? But what's the actual result? Overwhelmingly, people say they feel disappointed and guilty after they procrastinate. So that tiny bit of short-term relief comes with a huge emotional price tag.
So the big question, how do we start turning the tide in this war? It actually doesn't start with a special trick or a tactic. It starts with a really powerful shift in your entire mindset. It's about taking command. This idea comes from former Navy SEAL Commander Jocko Willink, and it is powerful. The concept is simple. If the team fails, it's always the leader's fault. Now, just take that idea and apply it to your own internal team, your brain. This is what he calls the commander's mindset, or extreme ownership. You are the leader. Your prefrontal cortex, your general, is the command center. So if your impulsive troops go rogue and you end up procrastinating, it's not their fault. It's yours. As the commander, you fail to lead them effectively. You don't get to blame your impulses. You take ownership and you come up with a better strategy. Okay, so once you've got that command mindset locked in, you need a weapon. A simple, fast, decisive tactic you can use to win those critical moment-to-moment fights against hesitation. This is it. Right here, this countdown is one of the most powerful weapons you have in your arsenal. It's the core of what author Mel Robbins calls the 5-second rule. The way it works is incredibly simple. The second you have an instinct to act on a goal, could be getting out of bed, speaking up in a meeting, starting that paper, you immediately start counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when you hit 1, you physically move. You don't wait until you feel ready. You don't think about it. You just launch yourself into action. So why does this little trick work so well? Well, the act of counting backward is a form of what's called metacognition. It's basically thinking about your thinking. It interrupts that habit loop of hesitation and doubt, and it yanks control away from your impulsive limbic system and gives it right back to your prefrontal cortex. You are literally awakening your inner general and putting yourself back in command. All right, let's put this all together. When you combine the command strategy of extreme ownership with the tactical weapon of the 5-second rule, you create something really profound. You start down a path where discipline isn't about restriction, it's actually about liberation. And this is the ultimate payoff. The discipline to take command of your own mind, to act even when you don't feel like it, that's what gives you the freedom to actually achieve your goals, to build the life you really want, and to finally escape that prison of guilt and disappointment that procrastination builds around you. So here it is, your complete battle plan. It all starts with leadership. You have to command your mind with extreme ownership. Then, in the heat of the moment, you deploy your weapon, the 5-second rule, to kill hesitation. Of course, any good general knows you have to break a huge mission down into smaller, manageable steps so your troops don't get overwhelmed. And finally, you got to remember that every single victory, no matter how small, reinforces those good habits and literally begins to rewire your brain for the next win.
See, the war on procrastination isn't one tomorrow or next week. It's one right now, in the next 5 seconds. You've got the strategy. You've got the weapon. The only question left is, what are you going to do with it? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.